What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. I had an original video planned talking about Zach LaVine once again, but of course this takes priority. You know, you never know when this day might come. I feel like, of course, I've been doing YouTube videos for a long time. You'd always assume this day would come where I have to talk about this topic, but ultimately, it's not something that you necessarily wait for or participate in or you want to see happen. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, let's just get right into it. It's official. Derrick Rose has retired from the NBA. It's been reported by multiple people, even Derrick Rose himself. And man, I kind of feel sad. I feel upset in many ways for a variety of reasons. It's hard not to get emotional at this topic because, of course, if you guys know me, you know that the Derrick Rose era is what I grew up on. That was my basketball. The 2011 to 2013-14 era of basketball is my favorite era of basketball, and I loved every second of it. Of course, I like where we are now in terms of the game, but man, growing up with some of those players and Derrick Rose being at the front runner of the guys that I looked up to in the NBA, everything he represented, everything he stood for, it was, again, it's hard not to like Derrick Rose. And I am feeling a little bit emotional today when I did read the story. And obviously, seeing everybody's reaction to it, seeing the video that the Chicago Bulls released to Derrick Rose and about Derrick Rose, it's a really, really, really touching moment. And first and foremost, again, I know it's a sad day today, in my opinion at least. I do want to congratulate Derrick Rose on his retirement. Man, what a career he has had. Now, you could talk about, whether or not it was a good career or a bad career, but it was a heck of a career in my eyes. One of the only players that you could truly say got back up and changed his life from the injuries that he sustained. Injuries that not many people can come back from, at least at that point in time. He had to dig deep to just find and salvage a career in the NBA, and he did that. He did that many, many times over. What a story, man. What a player. And I told you earlier in the video, I feel sad. I feel a little bit upset. And I feel upset because I mentioned it in the last video about Derrick Rose. I wanted to see him come back for one last run with the Chicago Bulls. I wanted that nostalgia trip. Again, in a team where we've got nothing to lose. It's not like we're going to be a championship contender or anything. I was willing to give him the chance, just to give him one more year with the Bulls, that farewell tour. Because, again, he's such an inspiration to many Chicago Bulls fans across the world. In my opinion, he's a Bulls legend. Youngest MVP, the heart of Chicago. He's got it all in his locker when it comes to being a Bulls representative. He's fantastic in that regard. Of course, he's played for a couple of other teams. But, again, it's in my eyes, he'll always be a Chicago Bull. He'll always be a Bulls first guy. And I respect him tremendously. But I wanted that last run. And it's sad that we don't get to see that. It's sad that he's going to retire without even... It's not even signing a 10-day contract with the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. He's just gone. He's just decided this is it. It's time to go. But in many ways, this is Derrick Rose-esque. He's a quiet guy. I don't necessarily think he's the type of guy that's going to be in for the farewell tours and the standing ovations or anything like that. You could tell he likes it when it happens. That MVP chant when he was with Minnesota, you could tell he was happy with that. But he's not necessarily the type of guy that's seeking that out. So as much as I would have liked one last run with the Bulls, as much as many Bulls fans across the world would have liked that last run with the Chicago Bulls, I don't think Derrick Rose was ever looking for that. And if he was looking for that, I think it probably would have happened, to be honest, but that's just me. I think it was more of the fact that he was waiting for the Bulls to do something, and the Bulls didn't really do anything, so he went on to do other things, and it's just too late now, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, only one or two things were going to happen. He was either going to join the Bulls or he was going to retire. He retired, man. He retired. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. He's retired, and it's... you can kind of tell where my head is at, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have much to say anymore. I wish him all nothing but the best in everything he does outside of the game of basketball. I know he's got a couple of business things that he works on now that's not necessarily reflective on basketball, or even if it is, it's obviously good for him. But I would have liked that last run, man. I felt like this was not the way to see Derrick Rose bow out of the NBA. I really feel like there could have been more there. I'm not asking him to start for a team. I wanted him to win a championship as well. If you guys didn't know that, I wanted him to go and try to win that championship. He didn't get an opportunity to do that either. It's a tough break, but obviously, again, I congratulate him, man. Again, he decided to retire on his own terms. That's the one thing that I think most players in the NBA want. Is to retire on their own terms. No one wants to retire because of an injury. Remember that time with the Cleveland Cavaliers? I think he hurt his ankle again, and he was contemplating retirement after that moment. I think he had conversations with his Cavs teammates, and that is, in my opinion, the worst way to leave the NBA. Not on your own accord. You know, the guys like Greg Oden, for example, who had to leave the NBA because the injuries caught up with him and he just wasn't that great player that he came into the league with. Yeah, sure, Derrick Rose did I guess, decline after those injuries and all of that. And he did find a way to bring his career back, and he elevated and motivated and changed his game. But at least he went out on his own terms. This was his time to retire. He chose this time to retire. No one chose it for him. No injury chose it for him. It was his time. And that is one thing that at least we could make sure we could take as a positive in this entire situation. So I think that's all I'm really going to mention now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to waste your time trying to figure out something else to say. I'm kind of a little bit heartbroken, but again, I'm also somewhat happy about it because, again, he got to go on his own terms, and he has other things, obviously, he wants to focus on now. But yeah, I just felt like there could have been more there. That's just how I feel at this point in time. And again, it's just genuine honesty here. It's just how I feel. Some people will say he's had a perfect career. He's done everything he could do. It's time to go. I don't know. I felt like there could have been more there for D Rose. But it is what it is. I hope he gets his jersey retired. I hope he gets the number 1 hanging in the rafters. I'm assuming if we do end up celebrating his career with that jersey retirement, it would have to be against the New York Knicks, just because he spent pretty much the second most time of his career with the Knicks. And Tom Thibodeau's still there. So that representation, you want Tom Thibodeau speaking on behalf of Derrick Rose. You want that interview. And obviously guys like Joakim Noah, who played for both teams. Taj Gibson played for both teams. I think that is a given. I'm not sure when we even face the Knicks, but of course we'd have to be at home. We'll wait and see. I sincerely hope that game is on a weekend so I can do a watch along for it and just celebrate the legacy that Derrick Rose brings. He may not ever make the Hall of Fame, but he's a Hall of Famer in my eyes, and he's a legend for sure. What do you guys think? I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.